Man. Hey, what's going on, guys? Brandon here with Texas Plinking, and I am very excited for this video because it is on something that I know I like, but now it's just a different caliber that I also know I like. To back it down real quickly, a few months ago, I made a video titled Budget Rifles Are Getting Insane, because they are. And in short, it was on a Outlier USA backdraft system in 6.5 Creedmoor. If you guys don't know what that is, Outlier USA makes some really cool components. Steel barrels, very budget-friendly barrels, might I add, chassis and all kinds of good stuff. But they also just started getting into something that they call the backdraft system. In short, the way it works is this carbon fiber barrel looks huge and stout. And well, the profile kind of is, but the rifling itself is obviously quite a bit in there. So it's best to describe it as this is almost like a huge barrel shroud around it. It's like just another layer over the barrel. And let's say hypothetically you are not running a suppressor. You do get 1/2x28 threads at the end of it, so you put a muzzle brake or whatever suppressor you choose to do later. And that's great and everything. But when you go with the Outlier suppressor, what ends up happening is it really works its magic. The suppressor stops some of the gases, has it come back here, but rather than going down into the rifling and dirtying up things, it just kind of almost uses all of this as an extra chamber of your suppressor. This barrel is not a suppressor by any means. If you shoot it unsuppressed, it's no quieter by any means at all. But when you do couple it with the Outlier suppressor, it almost just uses all the barrel length to slow down the gases even further. The biggest thing I'll say though is how fast it cools down. You might get a Mirage on a suppressor and it could take forever to go away. If I shoot this in really quick succession, it's definitely not Mirage proof. I'll get the Mirage, but it does not take much waiting around. Maybe a minute at most, and my Mirage for the most part goes away. When I use my titanium suppressors or whatever, it takes a couple rounds and that thing is just looking into water for quite a while. So the way this thing cools down has been what I enjoy about the backdraft system the most. Yeah, it's quiet too though, so that's nice. I totally forgot to mention that the suppressor comes with the barrel. Now that was really cool to say that back, you know, however many months ago it was when I made a video with the 6.5 Creedmoor, but it's even more exciting to say that now because I'm posting this video sometime in November. The only con with this, it's really hot stuff, so there is a lead time on them. The good news with that is, if you were to act on it now, by the time you even get your suppressor, you're probably into 2026, and you're not gonna have to pay the tax stamp on your suppressor. So when we're talking about something budget oriented, it kind of hurts a little bit to talk about a $200 tax. Well, that goes away by the time your suppressor is ready anyway, so pretty cool. So a carbon fiber backdraft barrel starts at just under 500 bucks, $499.99. For the 6.5 options, you got a 20-inch barrel or a 26-inch barrel. It goes up 45 bucks for the 26-inch. And I knew I was gonna get mine pre-fitted for a Remington 700, and once it's pre-fit, it's another $25. To chamber it for 6.5 PRC is another $25. Mine here is stainless, which is standard, but for another $60, you could go black nitride. So all that being said, as you see this barrel with the suppressor, it's just under $600, $594.99 or something like that. If I'm wrong, I'll go ahead and correct myself here. And I'm glad to say that year-round, code Texas Plinking saves a lot of money on Outlier and Arkin optics. But right now, especially, they're being pretty aggressive just because of Black Friday and all that kind of stuff. So the day I'm making this video, coupon code Texas Plinking does make it under $500, quite a bit under $500. I think it was $474.99. I hope I'm not wrong, but again, I'll correct myself here. That's with code Texas Plinking at checkout. Like I said, in this example, I am using the Outlier USA chassis. Those start at $200, but again, you're gonna need quite a bit of things to get it actually running. Mine here has a 15-inch M-LOK handrail with Arca Swiss and M-LOK. Pretty darn cool. That 15-inch handguard though is $159.99. Need it at a stock. This is the heavy stock at $199.99, and you need a grip. This is the one that they offer at $34.99. So total, it's $594.96, but then again, code Texas Plinking makes this whole chassis solution with the grip and stock $475.97. Another thing I added, it's a new addition from Outlier, is this little night bridge here, and it's cool because you can position it differently too. This night bridge attaches to the M-LOK here, which obviously works for the Outlier system. I don't know if it works for other stuff, like from MDT or something like that, just because it's mounting on M-LOK, so if the height's right, hopefully it works with other stuff too. Once something goes to night vision, I feel like there's a night vision tax. It could be such a simple thing, but if it's for night vision shooting, it goes up so much money. Thankfully, they didn't quite do the night vision tax on this thing. Those other rail systems that go to my Accuracy Internationals from Badger Ordnance are like $500 or whatever it was. I forgot. It's been a while. This thing goes for $149.99, but with that coupon code, what is that? Just under 120 bucks. Outlier barrel system, Outlier suppressor, Outlier chassis. Only thing you need from then on is a action, a trigger, and an optic of your choice. If you happen to want to go with an optic from Arkin, again, I've been recommending them just because of what they do at their price point is hilarious. But again, right now they're being pretty aggressive with some sales. So their top end optics, the EP5, whether it's the 5 to 25 5 or the EP5 Gen 2, which is like a 7 to 35, that code Texas Plinking makes it for $49.99 and $599.99. Now, those have been stellar deals on those optics, but right now, if you happen to want those optics, same price, they happen to come with a suppressor as well. Just the optics alone. It has to be an EP5, 5 to 25, or the 7 to 35. Even if you don't go for a backdraft system, you already have some other system, but you need an optic, why not just get a free suppressor? They are hub compatible, so you could just use it on anything else. When I made the video with my AR9, I did that as well, put it on my pistols, whatever. Again, that's for a 9mm suppressor. Here, it's very specific to a 6.5. And I don't know how that's gonna sound on your standard non-backdraft system. I would imagine they're gonna be the quietest on a backdraft barrel with the backdraft suppressor, just because it's using all of this as an additional kind of chamber and baffle, if you will. But if you were to just get the suppressor, put the hub compatible and direct thread it, you certainly have a suppressor there that you got for free. You're not even paying a tax stamp into 2026, which is awesome. I just don't know, I can't vouch for how quiet the standalone suppressor is. I'm only commenting on this, but hey, pretty darn cool. And again, full on MSRP, the prices are already not bad, but be sure to use coupon code Texas Plinking. I don't think it's case sensitive, all one word. That gives you the biggest savings currently available, gets you that rebate and all that kind of stuff. And that is how it works. When you order your stuff, if it's ready to go, it'll go. And because you're not buying an action, it's not actually a gun you're buying, you're just buying these accessories, they should be able to go straight to you. Then at some point after purchase, it could take a couple weeks, you'll get an email with a rebate, and that's how you get your free suppressor. And then that obviously will go to your FFL. And then you transfer that into yourself. And again, by that point, you're probably going to be into 2026 and you're going to have to pay that $200 tax, which is awesome. So I wanted to mention all that as far as Outlier and Archon are concerned, but the rest of this rifle, I have got an Atlas on here, as well as I've got a Rise Armament trigger. And then the action, this is a Black Rain Ordnance action. First time using one of those, and shoot, this thing shoots pretty darn nice, and the action just feels solid as well. I think we covered all the components. Now to talk about how it shoots. I'm going to be totally honest here. The first couple rounds I was shooting at 100 yards to zeroed in, I felt just slightly underwhelmed, but it made up for it, and I'll tell you guys why. The first time I ever came out here with an Outlier barrel was my stainless steel one. It's a very stout steel barrel, and that thing just could not shoot a bad group. It was just phenomenal every single time. It still is to this day. Box ammo, whatever kind of box ammo I throw at it, it's like half MOA or less. It's just ridiculous. It's cheating. And on that high, I came out here with the backdraft 6.5 Creedmoor, so carbon fiber barrel, and I thought, hey, don't have too high of expectations. It's a carbon fiber backdraft system. Let's see. And that thing also just could not shoot a bad group. Any kind of ammo I would do with that 6.5 Creedmoor, it shot so well. So we're 2 for 2. So I come out here with this thing and I shoot some Hornady 140 Botel hollow point. I'll show you guys a box of the ammo here. I was doing a couple shots just to zero it. And once I was pretty happy with my zero, I was going for some groups. And I hate to say, it was not performing quite as well. It wasn't atrocious. I wasn't doing like, you know, bird shot groupings. But I don't know, it was just under an inch and a quarter. Again, these are some of the first rounds ever through it, but I'm like, man, that's not as ideal. So then I did some 143. I think these are like the ELD Hunters or Hunter X. Again, I'll show the box of ammo. And that one, this is how spoiled I am. That one was exactly 1 inch and I felt a little underwhelmed. So about 1 inch, I'm like, all right, well, shoot, I got another kind of box of ammo, so let's try this. Unfortunately, I don't have a lot of it, but I do have some 153 AMAXs loaded up from Ally Munitions. So some very, very nice custom stuff. And that stuff was more so how I know these rifles to be. It was under 3/4 of an inch for 5 rounds, with the first one being the flyer, if you will even call it a flyer. The other 4 are in the same hole. It was like ½ inch or something. I'll show you guys a picture. Super, super tight grouping. And so that's the high I came off on, and I'm like, nice. So maybe the 6.5 Creedmoors are just a little bit more friendly. I mean, again, every situation might be a little different, but maybe they're just a little bit more friendly and not as ammo sensitive. Not that I'll call this ammo sensitive. We're talking about 2 of the 3 groups were sub MOA, but maybe this is something a reloader would really love. And if you're not a reloader, you know, don't expect to just shoot one kind of ammo you find at Academy and it be the dream. Tinker with it, use some other kinds of ammo. Again, if you're even a hand loader, you're not concerned about any of this. So what I'm saying is this shoots lights out. I just had to tinker with 3 kinds of ammo, and it's meh with one, it's good with one, it's really good with another one. That's my use case. As for how it does at 1,000 yards, I shot this out of order, so I could tell you it did phenomenal. Unfortunately, I ran out of the ammo that it did a stellar group with, so we landed with the middle point. Those 143 ELD Hunter M's or whatever they are, that's what we shot at 1,000 with, and how that did, you guys are about to see. All right, let's go for that top right silhouette. The mag must be some kind of restrictive mag. This is a 3-rounder, but you can put in whatever AICS mags you want. I should have brought another one. This one must be restrictive. It only holds 3, so I'm just going to hand feed the rest of them. Let's go for 10-inch target. Moving on over to the white one. Just left, if I see that right. On the money. Try to repeat that. Oh, nearly where I was holding. The wind was totally dead there. Try to split the difference. Little 2-for-1 special. Maybe some shrapnel hit the other post or something like that. Got the hit indicator light to go off. But yeah, not too bad. Let's try to do it again. Man. Dang, this thing's good. Let's go back to the top right silhouette here. Dang, 1 at 3 there. Let's just pretend this one in the chamber is the 3rd round, just to end on a hit here. Tell you what, got 3 rounds left. Let's see if we can't end on a good note, change it up, go for a 10-inch, but how about the orange one? Just to hit something different out there. But yeah, somewhat of a shorter look into this rifle, the Outlier backdraft system, because I've already made a video with one more in depth on the 6.5 Creedmoor. Now we've got a 6.5 PRC. I've also made a video on their AR9 backdraft system as well. But yeah, whenever I showcase anything from Outlier, it seems to get a lot of interest just because they are things, especially this backdraft system. They are these, you know, rifle setups that punch far above their weight. That's not to say that they're absolutely cheap and totally thoughtless to buy. They're still worth some money, but for what they do and the uniqueness behind their system, especially the backdraft, I think they're very, very cool. So when I got my hands on 6.5 PRC, I knew I was going to make a video on it. So hopefully you guys enjoyed. Again, if you guys are interested in anything Outlier, be sure to use coupon code TexasPlinking, and that's going to save some big savings year round. But I know as I'm making this video, I don't know how long it goes, probably throughout Black Friday and all that kind of stuff. Those deals should be out there. Post Black Friday, my code will still do something. I just don't know what that's going to be. But yeah, anyway, Outlier, check them out. Like I said, coupon code TexasPlinking, and that goes for Arkin as well. Whether you get the Arkin from Outlier's website too, because there's some kind of bundle deal, or you go straight to Arkin's website. Code TexasPlinking also gives you the biggest savings, whatever that is at the time. Right now, pretty substantial. But yeah, that just about does it. Quick look at the 6.5 PRC Outlier backdraft system, and see you guys next time. Take care.